solar system series known as Fixed Fire, where we're talking about the only fixed fire sign in this ecliptic, Leo. So, with this being the sun sign you have, we have to talk about another opposing placement that naturally comes with every sun sign, and this sign is your Earth placement. Now, if you're curious about what this placement actually is, you can look at the title of this video, or you can look at your zodiac wheel and be like, okay, Leo's here, now what's right here? Now, if you don't want to do this, that's why you watch this video in the first place, but it is basically Aquarius. So what is this opposing planet we're talking about, right? This would be Earth in Aquarius. Now, to understand Earth in Aquarius, we need to springboard off of the sun sign and kind of get, the synergistic understanding of both, right? So, Sun in Leo is fixed fire, being fixated in your own way of seeing and feeling about things. You can basically chalk this up to having a fixed perspective on how you see things from the world and also how you express yourself. You know what I'm saying? As we well know, it's birth from the 5th house. It's ruled by the sun, and it is away in Saturn, right? Now, if we flip the script a little bit, we're going to get to the Earth sign of Aquarius, which is ruled by Saturn and co-ruled by Uranus while it falls in the sun. So, now that we have a little gist about Leo, let's talk about the Earth in Aquarius. So, first things first, what is Earth? Earth is the planet of scheduling, growth, nurturing, and to get a better understanding of how Earth works, just throw a seed in some fertile soil and see what happens, right? It needs to be consistently watered. It needs to be, you need to pay attention to it consistently. You need to make sure it grows. It needs to have deep roots in the deep dark soil so it can, get its little home, get rooted, do its thing. And then it also needs to, needs to be nurtured, and it needs to take time to grow. So you have to do these things on a schedule, right? So with this being the case, you have to ask, what are the seeds for yourself? What do you do? What do you do every day to work on germinating these seeds and making them grow, right? So seeds for yourself can be looked at as ideas. Ideas are, they can be thoughts, concepts, any random bit of information that just pops into your head, right? So with that being the case, your Earth, you can kind of look at it as a bus stop on the way to a physical manifestation, right? Because, astrology, all energetic studies are really all synergistic, and, merely separating them is kind of, it has its positive and negatives, just like everything. There's a gift and a curse to everything, If you wanna pay your attention to something, there's a cost to it, There's a lot of, flip-flop, yin-yang duality to this universe. You feel what I'm saying? So, with this sign being placed in Aquarius, what is Aquarius? Aquarius is fixed air, being fixated on your own way of thinking and communication. And it's the flip side to Leo, to where it's not your perspective you're fixated on. It's your fixated form of thought, right? You have your own way of thinking about things, your own way of understanding things. This isn't your perception, this is your understanding. And if it's Leo fixated, this would probably move all the way up to an overstanding. And overstanding is a tough word, because when you're breaking down the understanding, and overstanding, there are two things that come together that can be broken down as, I can do it, but I can't talk about it. No good. I can talk about it, but I can't do it. Also no good. But if you can bring them together, this is the overstanding, where you can talk about it and do it. And this is a kind of varying thing with Aquarius. They just usually get a really good understanding at first, but since they're fixated in one specific thought, they'll have a lot of, just like any of the fixed signs, they'll spend a lot of time in this area, and they'll work very hard in this area, but it's only that one area they will expand and build upon. And the way you can kind of look at an Aquarius sign is it's either like jarred air or a tire, right? And this is why it's, ruled by Saturn and co-ruled by Uranus, because it's stuck in this little specific combined area, but due to the nature of osmosis, a little bit will escape over time. And eventually, the Uranus aspect of it would be like a nail in the tire, or you kick the jar, and then guess what? Kaboom! Change, like explosion, just random things happen, right? This is basically, what kind of ties in together the Earth and Aquarius in general. And I know that was just a lot of supplementary information to get to the point of what we're talking about, but, it's a new sign that's not really talked about that much. I mean, it's not new, but it's new to you. So it's just kind of like, we got to get all this out there so you can actually have your understanding whether you like it or not. All right? So, pardon my Aquariusness, but let's move into Earth in Aquarius. So, Earth in Aquarius, Earth in Aquarius, Earth in Aquarius. Now, putting this together, what does this mean? You have so you being a sun sign Leo, you have your own fixated way to feel things. So if Aquarius is placed in the sign that's kind of like your bus stop to a manifestation, then that means people are going to be trying you when it comes to, oh, okay, so this is how you see and feel about this? Okay, well, what do you know about it? What do you think about it? What's your idea that bring you to this process? Because in this, pardon my I guess language towards the realm we all live in, low vibrational ass realm. This is it's just people gotta, they need a physical basis to understand why you feel the way you feel, without just accepting the fact that based off of your alignments, you feel this specific way about something, But, just like all of the sun signs, they have their own opposing sign, which creates a natural dichotomy between what you see and how you're about to manifest something. You feel what I'm saying? So, getting into the traits a little bit is, like I said, an Earth Aquarius person, which is also a sun sign Leo, will attract a lot of situations in regards to, people, like I said, just people just trying you and testing you about how you feel. It's like, oh, you feel this way about it? You have this vision? How are you going to do it? Why do you think this way? How do you know you're going to create this situation for yourself? And this is kind of just what it attracts to you. Now, being tried this way will put you through and attract a lot of situations to you that will basically break down why you feel about this. And since you feel and you're basically, since you're like pretty much doing 3 steps out of the 4 of a manifestation, you're eventually going to be put through the situations where you will actually learn about why you feel this way. And you'll either learn, with the whole, 80% of the time you're going to be learning the structure of why you feel this way and how this point of view works out. But then again, that 20% of the time, you're going to be like, that's Uranus. That's Uranus right there, just pushing you through the situation of, oh, maybe the way I felt about this isn't exactly the right way now knowing this information. You know what I'm saying? So this can play out in numerous ways. It can play out as a person coming up to you, testing you about how you feel about something. It can play out as a person, it can play out as the situation itself testing you and being like, oh, okay, is this feeling actually right for you? Is it actually helping you get to point A to point B? Is it actually, is it just beneficial in general? It may not be, and you may have to learn this through something you kind of don't like, which is learning the structure of a situation, and the structure can go very deep. It can go all the way to just be like, damn, how I felt and saw all these things was totally wrong. It can go to be like, oh, okay, the way I was going towards doing all these situations is, mediocre, and maybe I should learn about doing it this way. Maybe it's some work. You may not feel totally comfortable doing this, but it will get you to a better place when being your own individual in the world as a whole, All right, another trait that you can kind of glean from this whole situation is that when you are a Sun in Leo and also an Earth in Aquarius, the Sun in Leo aspect basically gives you your fixed perspective, right? So basically that means you have a very, very, very good idea of where you are. Well, you kind of, let me put it to you this way. You have a very good idea of what you want, where you want to go, but where you are, all I'm going to say about this is you could muddy the waters with this aspect of yourself to some extent, You may be very pure and you may fire normally burns through the vision, but when it's your own fire, you can get a little, you can get 75% you're pretty accurate, but then there's a 25% where it's just like, oh, I really want this, and that kind of overpowers, what you may need, which is where your Earth sign will take over, because this touches back on the whole situation of you may have your own field of view on a certain topic, but you are always going to get tried and tested about why you think this and how do you know this, So, with that being the case, you are very good at getting from point A to point B and knowing where you want to go, right? And through this, you will basically go through the life lesson of them being like, okay, you have a bunch of people surrounding you that want to aid in your vision, and you understand your vision. Well, no, you don't understand your vision. You know how you see and feel about where you want to go with your vision. But actually going through with this process will teach you the lessons of what you need to know. And this may come at you from surrounding the proper people around you that will help you learn, understand, and work to overstanding how you, like, why you actually want to get to this and what you want to do once you get to this point. But by the, you could also, fire, like I said, fire normally burns through reality and can see how people feel about it and see if they genuinely want to help them. But, 1 out of 10 times you might surround yourself with someone that you are more tied to the vision of wanting to help that person rather than that person helping you. But like I said, the whole Earth and Aquarius aspect, this will help you go through the learning experience of knowing that, okay, I can't have this field, I can't get to this point where my vision is if I have my vision about this person being all like, I'm wanting to help them, it's a pity case, I want this. And, not to say that, like, this will happen with a large amount of consistency, but there's always, like, you may have other alignments that don't get you into this situation, but more often than not, you might have a heart where it's just like, okay, say you might have a Venus in Libra. You may want to really help this person and bring them along with you. But sometimes to grow, you got to just leave people behind. And, Sun sign Leo people may really like the attention they get from this person. But, like I said, Saturn being, ruled by, your Aquarius being ruled by Saturn, and Saturn being the planet of rulership for Aquarius, this kind of, this'll basically make you cut the fat and trim your situation a little bit and be like, okay, the structure of this situation, of you actually achieving this situation, will require you to get rid of certain people, certain excess weight that just don't need to be there, And you may feel some type of other way, but like I said, this is your Earth sign, not your Sun sign, so, this structure is going to do what it's got to do, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to cut some people off, and, maybe you can trick yourself into kind of, finding the joy and being like the movie Up in the Air, I think. Is that actually what is it? Up in the Air. Yeah, I think that's the movie with, George Clooney and, I want to say, not SJP, but maybe Angelina, I don't know, some other female actress where they go, like, around and fire people, Maybe you will find the joy in actually going around getting hired to fire people. But that's up to you. Anyways, to touch on the, to go over a little bit about what we talked about, let's remember that Earth is the planet of, growth, scheduling, nurturing, and if you really want to understand how this works, throw a seed in the ground. When you're an Earth and Aquarius person, you're going to have to learn about a lot of the things that your vision is directing you towards, and your perspective is just aligning you and making you want to get from point A to point B. Like I said, this will attract a lot of situations or people that will put you through the learning experience of, is this what I actually want? Is this actually where I want to go? Do I actually know why I'm doing this, And then, basically, Earth and Aquarius, Earth, like I already talked about Earth. Aquarius is it's co-ruled by Uranus, it's ruled by Saturn, and it is away in the sun. Anyways, that's pretty much, that's all I got for you in the Fixed Fire series talking about Leo. And even though we didn't talk about Leo, we may have talked about Earth a little bit, so we can call it the Fixed Air. Ooh, something different might happen, Uranus situation series. So, with that being the case, peace.